These are the 10 questions that trip the most CFA candidates. One by one, the exact scenarios, the exact wrong answer traps, and the one-sentence rule that unlocks each one. If you can get all 10 right, you are ready for ethics on exam day. Before the first question, the 3-step ethics reading process. Step 1, read the question stem last. Read the scenario first, identify who the subject is, and list the facts. Step 2, ask, which standard is most directly implicated? Not which standard sounds related, which standard is most specifically violated by the exact conduct described. Step 3, eliminate answers that address secondary concerns. The exam rewards precision. The most specific applicable standard wins every time. You have 90 seconds per ethics question. Use 60 of them reading, 30 deciding. Let's begin. Question 1. Michael Torres is a CFA candidate working as a junior analyst in Country X Securities. Law requires analysts to file a disclosure report within 30 days of purchasing shares in any company they cover. The CFA standards require disclosure, but do not specify a time limit. Torres purchases shares in a company he covers and files his disclosure report on day 45, within the CFA standards general requirement, but violating Country X's 30-day rule. The question asks, under Standard I, a knowledge of the law Torres has. A not violated Standard I, A, because he complied with the stricter CFA requirement of disclosure. B, violated Standard I, A, because he failed to comply with applicable local law, even though he satisfied the CFA standards. C, not violated Standard I, A, because local securities regulations are outside the scope of the CFA code and standards. Think it through. The correct answer is B. Standard I, A, requires compliance with the more stringent of applicable law or the CFA standards. Country X's 30-day rule is more specific on timing than the general disclosure requirement. Torres violated the stricter rule. The trap is a candidates who remember comply with the stricter standard sometimes assume the CFA standards are always stricter. They are not. Evaluate each specific requirement independently. Question 2. Marcus Webb, CFA, is a sell-side analyst at an investment bank with an active banking relationship covering TechCo. TechCo's CFO calls Webb directly and says, "We're planning a secondary offering in 60 days. I hope our existing analyst relationships will remain supportive." Webb reviews his model, concludes the fundamentals still support his buy rating, and publishes a research note reiterating the buy without disclosing the CFO's call. The question asks, which CFA standard has Webb most likely violated? A Standard I, B, independence and objectivity, by failing to disclose the investment banking pressure. B, Standard Roman II, A, material non-public information, by trading or recommending based on the secondary offering disclosure. C, Standard V, B, communication with clients, by failing to disclose the basis for his rating. Take your time. The correct answer is A. Even if Webb's view is unchanged, he must disclose the CFO's implicit pressure and the banking relationship. The violation is non-disclosure of the conflict, not his rating decision itself. The trap is B. The CFO disclosed a secondary offering, which sounds like MNPI, but Webb did not act on it. He reconfirmed his view on fundamentals. When an MNPI element and a conflict element coexist, ask, did the member ACT on the MNPI? If not, the independence violation is primary. Question 3. Jennifer Zhao, CFA, is a financial advisor. On her firm's website, she uses the tagline, "Managed by CFA charter holders, the gold standard of investment management." Her bio states she has 12 years of investment experience, counting 3 years as a bank teller and 2 years as an insurance sales agent from early in her career. The question asks, Zhao has most likely violated? A standard I-C misrepresentation, by misrepresenting her experience and implying guaranteed superior performance. B. Standard Roman 7, B. Reference to CFA Institute, designation, and program, by improperly using the CFA designation in marketing. C. Standard I-B. Independence and objectivity, by allowing marketing pressures to influence her professional representations. Think carefully. The correct answer is A. Claiming 12 years of investment experience, when 5 of those years were bank teller and insurance work, is a misrepresentation of qualifications. And the gold standard is an implied performance guarantee. Both are I-C violations. The trap is B. The CFA designation is used in marketing, but using the CFA credential accurately is permissible under Roman 7b. The problem is the false experience count and the implied performance claim. Those are I-C, not Roman 7b. Question 4. Sandra Kim is a portfolio manager. At an industry conference, she overhears 2 data stream engineers say, "The Q3 numbers are going to be brutal. The new product launch was delayed 6 months and nobody outside knows yet." Kim returns to the office and, without taking any action on data stream herself, tells her colleague Ray Chen, who covers data stream. Chen subsequently issues a sell rating downgrade on data stream. The question asks, with respect to Kim and Chen, which best describes their situation? Neither Kim nor Chen violated any CFA standard, because Kim did not trade on the information. B. Kim violated standard Roman 2, A, by passing material non-public information to Chen. Chen violated standard Roman 2, A, by acting on it. C. Only Chen violated standard Roman 2, A, because only he took action based on the information. This is a classic trap. The correct answer is B. Standard Roman 2, A, prohibits acting on MNPI or causing others to act on it. Kim violated Roman 2, A, the moment she passed the information to Chen. A tip alone is a violation for the tipper, even if Kim never traded. The trap is a she didn't trade. Trading is not required. The causing others to act clause is the most commonly tested element of Roman 2, A. Both Kim and Chen violated the standard. Question 5. Patricia Novick, CFA, manages both a large institutional pension fund at 500 million AUM and a smaller retail portfolio at 2 million AUM. She identifies an attractive small-cap stock with limited liquidity. The market can absorb about 10 million in purchases. She buys 8 million for the pension fund first and 1.5 million for the retail client, telling herself, "The pension fund is our biggest client and deserves first priority." The question asks, Novick has most likely violated a standard Roman 3, A, loyalty, prudence, and care, by favoring one client over another. B, standard Roman 3, B, fair dealing, by not treating all clients fairly when disseminating investment opportunities. C, standard VI, B, priority of transactions, by allowing client account transactions to be influenced by client size. Consider which standard is most specific. The correct answer is B. Allocation between clients requires a pro rata or equitable policy, not one based on client size. When the question is about how a member allocates between multiple clients, the answer is almost always Roman 3, B, fair dealing. The trap is a favoring one client over another sounds like a loyalty violation, but Roman 3, A, covers the duty to each individual client. Interclient allocation fairness is specifically standard Roman 3, B. Question 6. Helen Foster, CFA, manages a discretionary portfolio for Thomas Wang, age 68. His investment policy statement specifies conservative allocation, 70% investment-grade fixed income, 30% large-cap equity, no speculative investments. Wang calls and says he wants to allocate 15% of his portfolio to Bitcoin. He says he understands the risk and is comfortable with it. The question asks, under Standard Roman III-C, suitability, Foster should execute the trade because Wang is an adult who has explicitly communicated his risk tolerance. Refusing the trade violates client autonomy. B. Refuse to execute the trade as it violates Wang's IPS, and only execute if he provides a written IPS amendment. C. Execute the trade only if she first assesses whether it is consistent with Wang's overall financial situation and updates the IPS if appropriate. There is a third option that most candidates miss. The correct answer is C. Standard Roman III-C requires assessing suitability relative to the client's total financial situation, not just their stated preference. The correct procedure is assess suitability in full context, discuss implications, update the IPS, then execute if appropriate. The IPS is a living document, not a permanent veto. The trap is B. The IPS says no, so refuse. Pure refusal without assessment is not correct. Foster must evaluate whether the trade could be appropriate given Wang's full picture, then update the IPS if it is. Question 7. David Park, CFA, is an analyst planning to leave his employer Meridian Advisors and start his own firm. While still employed, he has done 3 things. 1. Copied client contact information from Meridian's CRM to a personal USB drive. 2. Informed 3 of his largest clients he is leaving and asked if they'd consider following him. 3. Drafted marketing materials for his new firm on Meridian's computers after hours. The question asks, which of Park's activities constitutes a violation of Standard Roman IV? A. Loyalty to employer. Activity 1 only, copying confidential client information. B. Activities 1 and 2 only, copying client data and soliciting clients pre-departure. C. All 3 activities. Consider each activity carefully. The correct answer is C. All 3 violate Roman IV. A. Copying client lists is misappropriating employer property. Pre-departure solicitation is prohibited regardless of timing or client response. And using employer equipment to build a competing business is a violation. The after-hours detail is a deliberate exam trap. The trap is B. Candidates assume activity 3 is a gray area because it was done on his own time. Standard Roman IV. A. Prohibits using employer resources for competing activities regardless of when they occur. Question 8. Robert Ellis, CFA, is a quantitative analyst who has developed a proprietary screening model for selecting small-cap stocks. The model has backtested well over 5 years. Ellis recommends stocks based solely on the model's output, without conducting any fundamental analysis on individual companies. For one recommendation, Gamma Technologies, he has not reviewed Gamma's financial statements, read analyst reports, or verified the data inputs the model uses for Gamma. The question asks, Ellis most likely violated Standard V. A. Diligence and reasonable basis because he used a quantitative model rather than fundamental analysis, which does not constitute a reasonable basis. B. He did not independently verify the data inputs and completeness of his analysis for individual recommendations generated by the model. C. He did not disclose to clients that his recommendations are model-generated rather than based on individual company research. The answer hinges on what V. A. actually requires. The correct answer is B. Using a quantitative model is entirely permissible under V. A. The standard does not mandate fundamental analysis. The violation is Ellis's failure to verify data quality and model applicability for each specific recommendation. A backtest does not substitute for verifying that today's inputs are accurate. The trap is candidates assume quantitative models are inherently inferior to fundamental analysis under V. A. They are not. The violation is always about data quality and process completeness, not method choice. Question 9. Richard Avery, CFA, is the head of research at Sterling Capital. His junior analyst Dan Lee is found to have violated Standard A by issuing recommendations without adequate research basis for several months. During this period, Avery received quarterly compliance sign-off forms from Lee and reviewed a sample of Lee's reports without identifying any problems. Avery did not have a systematic supervisory process in place. The question asks, with respect to Standard Roman 4C, which statement best describes Avery's situation? A. Avery has not violated Roman 4C because he received compliance forms from Lee and reviewed his work. B. Avery has violated Roman 4C because he did not have adequate supervisory procedures in place and failed to detect Lee's ongoing violations. C. Avery has not violated Roman 4C because the standards hold the violator, Lee, responsible, not the supervisor. Remember that supervisors carry independent obligations. The correct answer is B. Standard Roman 4C requires supervisors to establish and enforce adequate procedures to detect and prevent violations. Quarterly self-reported forms and an unspecified sample review that failed to detect months of violations is not adequate. Outcome matters. Systematic undetected violations indicate the process was insufficient. The trap is a he did something. Roman 4C does not require perfect supervision, but it requires adequate supervision. Effort is not the standard, adequacy is. Question 10, the final one. James Ackhofer is a CFA Level II candidate. After sitting for the Level I exam, he posts on a finance forum. Just took the Level I exam. The ethics section heavily focused on Standard IB, and there were several questions that tested the difference between Roman 3A and Roman 3B in allocation scenarios. There was one really tricky question about an analyst who received a gift from a company he covers. The post does not include any specific question text or answer choices. The question asks, Ackhofer has most likely not violated any CFA standard because he discussed topic areas, not specific questions, and sharing general impressions is not prohibited. B. Violated Standard Roman 7A by disclosing confidential exam content, even without reproducing specific question text. C. Violated Standard IC misrepresentation by potentially creating a false impression of exam difficulty for future candidates. This one catches almost everyone. The correct answer is B. Standard Roman 7A covers all confidential exam content, not just verbatim questions. Identifying which standards were tested, their relative weight, and the nature of specific questions is confidential information. The fact that he didn't reproduce question text is not a defense. The trap is a he didn't share actual questions. This is the most common wrong answer logic for Roman 7A. The confidentiality obligation covers topic areas, weighting, and question nature. This is a frequently understudied standard and a frequent exam question about the exam itself. Here are the 10 traps tested in this lesson. Screenshot this. Standard IA. Local law can be stricter than the CFA standards. Evaluate each requirement separately. Standard IB. Disclose conflicts even when you believe you maintained objectivity. Standard IC. Inflated experience counts and implied performance guarantees are misrepresentation, not a Roman 7B issue. Standard Roman 2A. Tipping alone is a violation, trading is not required. Standard Roman 3B. Interclient allocation fairness is Roman 3B fair dealing, not Roman 3A. Standard Roman 3C. Assess suitability in full context first, neither automatic refusal nor automatic compliance. Standard Roman 4A. After hours, on employer equipment is still a violation. Pre-departure solicitation is always prohibited. Standard Roman 4C. Adequacy of supervision is the standard, not just effort. Standard V.A. Quantitative models are permissible. The violation is failing to verify data inputs. Standard Roman 7A. Exam confidentiality covers topic areas and question nature, not just verbatim questions. 10 traps, 10 rules, you have them now.